Good evening everyone. Have you ever met someone who really annoyed you? I mean really annoyed you. Got you to do really stupid things for apparently no reason and then criticised you for it. The kind of person who isn't even appreciative when you saved their life. You know, the person who turned out to be an orphan kid all along with an unreasonably tragic backstory. Yeah, well today we'll be trying to avoid as many fishing based quests as possible and cover the Angler from Terraria. The Angler at first appears to be an impolite and demanding child with light brown hair, clad in a fishing vest, bucket hat and potentially waders. As with many in Terraria, he goes by a number of names, including, among others, Billy, Jay, Nathan and Tyler, although he's most often referred to simply as the Angler. As might be expected, the Angler is almost entirely associated with the act of fishing, despite the fact he is never seen to actually engage in the activity himself. Unlike others, however, the Angler does not actually sell items, but instead will provide them as rewards for completing fishing tasks and returning certain forms of catch. On the face of it, the Angler is a fairly rude, unsupervised child, but when you stop to consider his circumstances and the type of things he says, it may be that he is not so much rude as extremely vulnerable and alone. While very little is directly known about the Angler, what is known is that he can be found sleeping on a beach next to the ocean. However, when awoken, he thanks you for saving him and makes reference to drowning. This could heavily indicate that he was washed up on shore after a wreck at sea of some kind, and his brief gratitude is more indicative of his true personality rather than the abrasive persona he quickly takes on. Not to say that he may not have always been somewhat impolite, but it could be that he retreated into this trait in order to protect himself due to finding himself alone in a strange land amongst strange people. Because of the fact he is alone and makes no reference to his parents, instead stating that he needs a place to live, it can be assumed that they are either dead or at least thought to be dead by the Angler. The situation which most logically led to their demise may well be the very wreck that resulted in the Angler washing up on shore. It is likely that the Angler was part of a family of fishers whose lives revolved around the act, up to and including sending their children to fishing camp. On one occasion where they took their fishing boat out, they may have encountered bad weather, been attacked by pirates, or something altogether more monstrous, as it may be hinted that Duke Fishron was responsible for the incident. No matter what, the event resulted in their boat being destroyed, and the Angler's parents being killed. From there it could have been that the Angler merely drifted, unconscious, until he washed ashore, or possibly even survived for a time on a makeshift raft, having to come to terms with his loss, leading to him becoming far more belligerent. Of course, there are any number of ways his past could have played out, including his parents surviving, but as the evidence stands, this seems unlikely. Either way, it seems possible that the Angler has some sort of post-traumatic condition and attempts to cope by desperately seeking out the types of fish his parents would have prized. Counterintuitively, however, the event may have also given him a paralysing fear of the one thing he knew best, fishing itself, causing him to send others to find the catch he desires. It might be that the champion of Terraria even recognises this and assists the Angler, despite his attitude, in order to help him through his trauma. Surprisingly enough, the Angler actually likes far more people than he dislikes, with the only person he actively hates being the tavern keep, simply because he won't serve alcohol to children. While the princess is generally liked by everyone for simply being Terrarian royalty, the Angler may instead like her because she is a child like him, or possibly because she reminds him of a sister who was lost along with his parents. While this is in no way confirmed or even hinted to, it is a possibility worth entertaining, as it seems unlikely that the Angler would like her for merely being a princess. While it's not known exactly what becomes of the Angler, there's evidence that he became friends with the pirate and departed with him to hunt down the Fishron who killed his family. The Angler is certainly somewhat of an enigma, with his past open to any amount of speculation. However, it does not seem as though it will be revealed anytime soon, especially not by the Angler himself. Otherwise, he seems to have no great impact on the world, with his fishing requests being a distraction at most. As such, the Angler has been assigned a notoriety of low. Now, how did "here go find this fish for me" turn into "I have deep set trauma because my parents died and I was left to survive on the high seas for God knows how long"? Just another day in Terraria, I guess. Please subscribe for more in the lecture series, and don't forget to become a patron to support the course and suggest your own topics. Now, have a great day, and please feel free to make up your own bad fish pun here, because I'll be damned if I can reel any in.